Shalom, brothers and sisters. Marcus de Costa here. And as I was preparing a teaching for Tabernacles, I read something in the scriptures that just engaged my mind, which I wanted to share with you, because I think, brothers and sisters, we've been so disconnected from Father's word and from Father's land and his way of reckoning time and the seasons, that there's been much confusion this year. But I wanted to just run this past you in the hope that it will provoke some thought, and I'm just interested to see what you think about this. I'm reading from Exodus 23, verse 16. And the feast of harvest, the first fruit of thy labours, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in all thy labours out of the field. So, as I'm reading this, I'm reminded of just stuff I'm doing in the garden in the back, right? This verse is speaking about the end of the year, and it's speaking about the end of like your harvest, your seed time, then you have your harvest, your end of your agricultural year, so to speak. Obviously, you can sow things into later on throughout the year, but I'm hoping you're following me with what I'm saying and what the scriptures are saying here. But as I'm going through my thoughts, I'm reminded that my raspberries are ready. Like we've been eating the raspberries. They're ready, to the degree that for a few weeks now we've been plucking them, and some of them, if you leave beyond, they will go bad. So the raspberries are ready. The blackberries, they've been ready. They've finished, the blackberries. The elderberries, they're gone. The trees of, the elderberries on the trees, they're finished. We got a fig tree. Figs are ready. They're done. Like, to the degree, if you didn't eat them already, they're falling to the floor. The ground will take them. The beast of the field will take them. Strawberries, finished. Now, as I'm sowing, like I sow microgreens, we have them for our salad. I'm noticing that because of this seasonal change, what I'm sowing isn't growing as quick. It's not growing as quick, and it's not shooting up as large as what it would have done just a month ago. What else? Trying to think if there's anything else, just as a way of a point of reference. The flowers on the trees, I'm looking at the window now. Yeah, they're starting to go. The grass starting to change colour, because I know this because my chickens are not, they love to eat grass, and they're having to eat more grain and whatever else I'm having to feed them, because the grass is starting to grow. And overall, although it's still green, it is not as lush. And I'm saying all of this to say and I'll get to my point, and I hope that you're hearing me, that the Feast of Ingathering, the Feast of Tabernacles in the 7th month, is in the month where you've had your harvest already and you're coming up to bring your first fruits. Now, at the beginning of this year, when myself and a few others, ministry leaders, took the decision to start the biblical year at one point in time, when a whole group, or the majority of people, chose to follow others with their reckoning of time, because there was not enough barley, Aviv, there was not enough Aviv barley according to their understanding in the land. Although I can see that, as far as I'm concerned, that, you know, this pretty much would be the end of your agricultural year, because if I wait another month before I harvest, there actually wouldn't be nothing for me to have. And I know that if we go to another place in the scriptures, it speaks about the corn and the wine. So maybe in the land of Israel, and I'm certain if there are people over there who's going to tell me, maybe, you know, the temperature is different to the degree that they need another month for their fruit and so on to mature. But I don't believe that's the case. What I believe is the case is that Father has a way of telling people what the time is. We know that the moon was established for appointments, according to the psalmist. We know that there's things in the sky which was there for appointments, for Moedim, for seasons, for signs. And when I stepped out of my house at the beginning of the biblical year, I looked at the ground. That wasn't really my decision. I based my decision on scripture. But I was able to look at the ground and look at the plants and look at the temperature, and then reference scripture regarding summer in, I believe it's in the Song of Solomon, and it just gave me the indication that, yeah, this is the beginning of the new year. Why? Because I can see the evidence of life in the ground, that it's no longer winter. And now, as I'm seeing things begin to die off, as the weather is changing, and in the UK we're being told, I don't know about other countries, but we're being told, like, I saw like a post from one of these news channels, we're heading into like some of the coldest weather ever seen in this country. And I'm thinking to myself, if you have to wait another month for you to hold the Feast of Ingathering, the Feast of Tabernacles, you may not have anything left if you was to give a first fruit. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. So I'm only sharing this video because I think if you hold strictly to what's written in terms of how to discern the first month when the barley is Aviv, and when you look at scripture how to determine the first month, and that from the first month with the Aviv barley, you should be counting 7 weeks from the time you put the sickle to the corn. So this whole idea that you can have Aviv barley in the 13th month and you put sickle to the corn in the 13th month, but you don't give an offering until the following month, that's against Torah, because you still have to count 7 weeks from the time you put sickle to the corn in accordance to the scripture. And here we have this period of ingathering, where from my observation, even in, I know the UK is not the land of Israel, but here everything's ready. It's been ready. So just my observations, maybe if where you are, if things are ready, and you would be ready to give the first fruits of the end of the year, the first fruits of your labors, then let me know. And if not, also let me know. Just my humble musings about Father's time and the scriptures. Shalom.